Topps drops the ball not only once but twice this week in Project 70, and one of the cards released over the past couple of days makes me lose focus on that artist. This celebrates everything that you should be celebrating about Derek Jeter, and that is his mindset and his will to win baseball games. This Babe Ruth is controversial. I love it. It brings attention to the set, and there still is time to win that Derek Jeter and Babe Ruth free for me on my Discord server, CRT Space Sports Cards. Jump onto there and guess the print run. The person closest to both of those cards will each win a free copy of the card. But welcome to episode number 24 of the Project 70 show. My name is Chris, otherwise known on Twitter and Instagram is at CRT_sportscards. And my website is where you want to go for everything related to Project 70, and that is just simply CRTsportscards.com. I will also be updating pricing this Sunday morning on first artist and foil pricing cards. So if you're interested in the pricing of secondary market on these cards, check out the website early Sunday morning. And now typically in this segment, when it comes to the Friday shows, we are talking about the first 6 print runs from the week, but this is where Topps has, in my mind, absolutely dropped the ball this week. The set is still in its infancy. We're barely 100 cards into the set. We don't really know where the set is going at the moment. We think we know where it's going, but for the most part, when you relate this back to Project 2020, when this set was just 40 cards in, we hadn't even started the bubble phase yet, so we're still very early on. And how do you not put out the print runs from at least the Monday cards by this time on Friday? The Monday cards had probably one of the most important cards of recent weeks in the set, Andrew Thiel's 1952 Mickey Mantle. Not to know that print run headed into the weekend is just a massive drop of the ball on their part. I don't know how they let this happen. And then to not post up the Tuesday print runs, I mean, what are we doing here? I do understand probably here that they're not the ones actually tabulating the results. They probably have a third-party processor looking at these totals, but I just don't know how someone in the Topps project department does not jump on the website and go, you know what, it's Friday evening, we haven't posted the results from the past couple of days, we must get these up for the fans of this set. And now speaking on the word of fans, I did want to say thank you to everyone who has supported this channel over the past year. This upcoming Monday will be the 1-year anniversary of my release of my very first show called Furloughed, but today, 1 year ago, is when I was basically put on furlough from my job, and little did I know what the next year was gonna have in store for me when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to my professional career, everything in general. So I just wanted to say thank you for the support. I cannot wait for year number 2. And so with no print runs for the week, no real arrows on where the set is going for this week and through the weekend, let's talk about the 6 cards that released over the past couple of days. And I did say at the very beginning, one of these releases really made me lose focus on this artist because I was a real big fan of their work before this, but their release on Thursday made me go in a different direction with their set. But first up here we have Keith Shore releasing his very first Max Scherzer, and actually there's only going to be one Max Scherzer from Keith Shore, but this is Scherzer's first card in the set. And this is a card that really I don't really understand. I understand the Mad Max. I understand, of course, Max Scherzer has two color eyes here, but from a cultural reference perspective, I'm not the biggest movie fan, so this card is clearly over my head. When I was reading the Facebook comments, there were a lot of people talking about how cool the card was. I know Max Scherzer is from Chesterfield, Ohio. There's apparently some sort of reference there. I don't know what it is, but this card, starting out the gate on Thursday, went right over my head. So in the comments below, let me know the reference material and why this card is so cool for Max Scherzer. And so while I did start Thursday off a little lost, on Friday there were some very, very important, and I'm going to call them emotional cards, because the meaning behind the card and the meaning with the reason the card was made, I think, was very, very emotional. But first up here we have Willie Mays by Futura. And I think the important part here is, look, this Willie Mays is true to what we're expecting to see from Futura, but the reason behind the card is so impactful. So instead of me trying to break down this card. I want to read exactly what Futura put out about this card. Very simple. Futura is Leonard Hilton McGurr. He was born in 1955, the same year the Dodgers, his mother's favorite baseball team, won the World Series. From a very young age, not much rivaled McGurr's love for baseball. The stats, sounds, sights, and smells. To this day, he often listens to New York Mets radio broadcasts while painting in his studio or installing on the road in other countries. And then it goes on to talk about his creation of the cathedrals of the game, where he visits every single ballpark in America. But it really speaks about the origins, in my opinion, here of Futura. If his mother wasn't a fan of the Dodgers, was or is this card ever produced? Is there ever a Futura? So it goes back to the origin of Futura, and for that I really, really like it. And if you really boil this card down to one, maybe previous release, not necessarily in a Topps brand, but with the orange, when I first saw this card, I immediately, for some reason, thought about 1991 Fleer. And now, not to be outdone on Friday, in the emotional category, we have Natural, one of my just favorite artists in Project 70, with his Hank Aaron. But here is where I say Topps dropped the ball just a little bit with this card. It should have been released yesterday. 47 years ago, plus one day today, is when Hank Aaron hit his ever-famous 715th home run in 1974. And of course, Natural does it correct here. The design year he used for this card is 1974. When you take a look at the Atlanta Braves, the Hank Aaron, you can just see the lettering with his triangle work. It's just a card that works very, very well. But I think it's key here again to hear from Natural himself around this card. And when he talks about Hank Aaron hitting that 715th home run. Look, I was on a live when this home run was hit, but I've been to the place in the parking lot where the home run ball went over the fence at the old Brave Stadium. But here is what Natural said about this card. The hate and the racism he endured while achieving this incredible feat is unfathomable and must be remembered and celebrated. Here's to all the 715s being hit in the world by people of color that don't get noticed. Keep swinging. So absolutely, and you know my complete fandom when it comes to Jackie Robinson and his career and his story. So this card encapsulates one moment in history so very well, and here again, very, very emotional. Now, moving away from the emotional cards too, did Topps really allow this in their set? We have Ermsy with their third card. We have Doc Ellis, and if everyone looked at this card and you said, what in the world is this card? What are we doing with Doc Ellis in Project 70? This card explains his no-hitter. And he only threw one no-hitter in his career. But you know what? He did it while he was on acid. And that is just a legendary story from his career and in basically the entire story of baseball. MLB, at least to my knowledge, has never released the entire footage of this no-hitter, but this story came to us about 14 to 15 years after his career. And when you take a look at the left part of the card, Doc Ellis said that he thought that he was pitching to Jimi Hendrix, and so that's why you have basically Jimi Hendrix on the left side. He also thought Richard Nixon was the umpire. Don't know where he got that from, but I don't see Richard Nixon on this card. But this card is a quirky card. It celebrates everything that we think about when you go back to the history of baseball and you go back to the history of Doc Ellis. And nobody out there could have done this card better than Ermsy. And so that leaves us just one card from Thursday and one card from Friday. Let's tackle the Friday card first. Bobby Hundreds releases his third Error Terror card set in Project 70 with his Tom Lasorda. And if you remember from our video on the last Tom Lasorda card, this is a direct reference to his original rookie card where he was named or called Tom Lasorda on this card. Tommy Lasorda was picked up later in life, but he started out as Tom Lasorda. But now this sort of critique on the card kind of goes both ways. And really, I don't have a critique of the card in and of itself. This is an error card. It is exactly what we expect to see from Bobby Hundreds in Project 70. If he released a card with no errors, I would not be a happy camper because I'm putting together his set. But here I think we have to be better as a community when it comes to Project 70, buying of these cards. I'm kind of amazed that when his cards show up in someone's mailbox, someone goes online and posts, why is this card off-centered, or why is this card wrinkled, or what is this? Do we not know what we're buying? Do we not understand what we are spending our money on? So I think take a second, look at what you're purchasing, but understand this. This is a very, very unique card in the set, and I'm very, very happy to see that an artist is taking a unique approach with Project 70. And now in the same vein as unique, we have an artist here releasing their Thursday card, which I, for one, was completely sold on. I was not putting this 5-card subset series together, but I thought it was a very, very interesting and unique set in Project 70. And then he went and blew it all up with his release, and now I've completely lost focus of this 5-card set. But we have Jeff Staple releasing his 3rd card in the set, his 3rd Subway Series card, but it has Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge did not play in the Subway Series. Aaron Judge was 8 or 9 years old when this Subway Series happened between the Mets and the Yankees. I remember this series vividly because I was 18 or 19 years old when this series happened. A very impressionable time of my life during being a baseball fan. But I just don't understand why Aaron Judge is the subject of this card. There could have been any number of players used in the set. I mean, you could have used Roger Clemens. That would have been a heck of a follow-up after his recent release from Mike Piazza. So right now, I am out on Jeff Staples' 5-card subset. I will say, though, I do really like the fact that he's using 1975 Topps. The 5 cards together are going to look very well. They are going to display incredibly well, which I think is an interesting fact here of these cards. Which ones will display well, which ones will not display well. So it looks cool, but I just think it was a massive miss here with Aaron Judge versus incorporating somebody who was involved with the Subway Series back when that happened. So we are again in a very tricky spot when it comes to the Friday card giveaway. Every single Friday card I am collecting personally, and I do though have some bad news. The 1 card order I had of Kyle Lewis from Jacob Rochester did not include a foil or the gold 1 of 1, so the giveaway card for that card will just be the base card. But on the release today, it came down to Futura. That Willie Mays I will be giving away for free. So right now in the comments below, number 1, you must be subscribed to the channel, so hit that subscribe button first. And then number 2, put your print run guess below. The person close to the print run without going over will win a free copy of the card for me, and maybe we'll find a foil or a gold here in the near future. With that, have a fantastic weekend. Buy every single card you can on the Topps.com website, and I will see you back on Monday for episode number 25 of the Project 70 show.